You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it. You feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup exploring over 60 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold on tight. You never know where the crew of the TARDIS is going next.
Hey there, Whovians. Welcome to another episode of Earth Station Who. That's right, folks. We are back. And, you know, I would say we've got a great one for you, but, you know, we always like to say on the show, you know, they always come out with Doctor Who news after we record. Well, guess what, folks? They finally came out with news before, and we were chomping at the bit to talk to you guys about this one. And we found out about the fate of the Christmas special and kind of what's going on with the series going forth into 2027 and beyond. Some of the things we have talked about in the past, some of the things we've talked about at the panel we did over in Pensacola at Pensacon when Mary and I did it. And we also just, you know, we've been just talking on the shows about this and just in passing. So it'll be very interesting. And we decided to scale it back on this one. And it's going to be very low key and an interesting conversation with, of course, my three favorite co-hosts in the world. And let's say hi to them. Of course, let's say howdy to Mr. Mike Gordon.
Howdy.
You doing okay, my friend?
I am.
Okay, and we have, of course, the lovely and talented Melanie Dean.
Hello, everyone. I can't wait to start chatting about this news.
Yes. And last but never least in our hearts, Ms. Mary Ogle.
Hi, everybody. It is fantastic to be here, sort of. Kind of.
Exactly. We do have a lot to talk about, but we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home, especially on this topic. And of course, our friend Peter did write us. So we will, you know, jump in with Peter at the end of the episode. He wrote about what we talked about on our last episode. And then he sent a separate email talking about the same news we're going to talk about here. So this will be interesting. None of us have official contact with the BBC. None of us have, you know, we have contacts who are close with it, and we have friends who, you know, do other podcasts and do other Doctor Who things, and we do talk. And so we're going to, you know, we could bring up their names, or we could talk about what we've heard. And some of the rumors have been going on for quite some time. And there's been a lot of negative bashing on this. And we're going to try to keep this as level-headed and positive. But, you know, I'm not making any promises on this one tonight. You know, we're a Doctor Who podcast. We want new Doctor Who because we love the show. So let's go back a little bit and we're going to read the statement from BBC. This is on June 10th, so this was last Wednesday, so almost a week ago as of this recording, because we're recording this tonight. It is the 16th of June. So we've had a week of this to, you know, settle in a little bit and catch up on what's going on and everything. They did announce, there was an official announcement about the Christmas special and also the upcoming series of Doctor Who from the BBC. And we always have said on the show, we will believe all the statements that come out from the BBC, not stuff you read in The Sun or read in The Guardian or Radio Times. I want to hear it official from the horse's mouth, as they like to say. So BBC came out and they said, today we're announcing an update on plans for the future of Doctor Who. I'm going to have up on the video screen, if you are watching at home, the statement as I'm reading it. As part of the securing for the next phase of the show for future generations in line with the BBC's charters and agreement requirements, the BBC will put Doctor Who out to competitive tender this year. Doctor Who remains an important part of the BBC, and this tender underpins the BBC's continued commitment to Doctor Who, ensuring audiences will enjoy the show for years to come. Let's stop right there real quick. Tender does not mean canceled, folks. And so many people out
It's
there.
the opposite, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, so they're continuing.
Yep.
Exactly. After careful consideration, the BBC, Russell T Davies, and Bad Wolf have collectively decided not to go ahead with the previously announced Doctor Who Christmas episode. This decision was not taken lightly, and we know it will be disappointing for fans, but in order to get the show set up for the future series, it was decided that rather than bridge the gap with one-off special, we are choosing to push forward to invest in the long-term future of the show, which ensures that when the TARDIS lands once more, and it will, it does so in all its glory. The previous announced new Doctor Who animated series for CBBS, or Babies, is currently in production. Details of the tender will be announced in due course. The BBC remains all IP in Doctor Who. BBC Studios will continue to lead the global distribution of Doctor Who as well as licensing, consumer products, digital, and immersive experiences on behalf of the BBC. So that was the statement from the BBC. And people jumped all over that, saying, "See, Doctor Who's being canceled. They're walking away from it. They couldn't, after the deal with Disney and how woke it was and everything, they're canceling it. They're pulling the plug on it. Far from it, like we said. Tender does not mean that it's canceled. What they're doing is looking for a new production partner for it."
In fact, the BBC's own charter says that every show has to be put out to tender by 2027.
Yes.
They're doing it with a bunch of other shows too. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, it's not all gloom and doom there, folks. Then our buddy Russell T, well, it's not my buddy anymore, but that's a whole different story, came out with a note, his little thing up on, I think this is X. He came out and said, "And so goodbye from me to Doctor Who, but hello to a big new future for the show. As the BBC announced, it's putting the show out to tender. As a result, there won't be a Christmas special. We only cooked that up to guarantee a future where no one knew what would happen. But now we do know that there's no need for it. You'll have to wait a bit longer for new Doctor Who, but you'll be waiting for more Doctor Who than a one-off. So it's worth it. For the record, there was no script. I never wrote it. And no actor was ever approached to play the next Doctor. You may disagree. Fine. Sit in that chair and wait to be proven right. You'll wait a long time. Now I'm excited as anyone to see what comes next. Will they keep the theme tune? Will they lose the blue box? Will they bring back the Draven? It's all up for grabs, which is so Doctor Who. Exciting and unpredictable and new. Here comes the future. Whoop, whoop. And that's what he wrote. So he's been lying to us pretty much the whole effing time.
Even in his final statement, the man just took just all the herrings he had, like that one Muppet, and started throwing them. Like, bye, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what are your thoughts on these statements, guys? Initial.
I mean, the BBC's is just basically corporate speak for we lost the Disney deal and we need to find another partner. And that's fine. That happens. It frosts me more the way that RTD participated in the lie around the Christmas special #1. Basically, maybe he didn't say it outright, but he certainly heavily implied that he had scripts written for the Christmas special. Though I will say he's notorious for waiting to the last minute for a script, but I'm pretty sure he had at least an outline or an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And his attitude just comes across as so condescending to the fans. And, there's trolling, and then there's just, I'm better than the rest of you. And the whole line about, well, you can just sit in your chair. And I'm like, look, I get it. The fans are toxic. I understand RTD, but maybe, not everybody is that way. Maybe,
Right.
maybe treat us with a little respect, which I do not feel like he did.
I
If,
agree with that.
you
But
know,
it's interesting too because, and I agree completely with what you said, Mary, and it was condescending what he was saying, and his constant lying about everything, and saying, "Oh, I never even wrote a script. It was just put out there. That the Christmas special was just put out there as a footer," and that's BS. Because are you now then with him saying that? Murray Gold, came out, I think this is back in February or March, and he said, I've seen the scripts. He has three of them with three different endings. And each are brilliant. What did Murray see? Was it outlines? Was Murray Gold lying about it? Doctor Who's could be changing with, Bad Wolf no longer in production. That means a new production company could come in, and I think it's great that we're going to get fresh blood. But the last time we got fresh blood in, we got Chibnall, and who had 10 minutes before we started bashing on Chibnall that
Ding.
and how the fans were rabid against that and everything. So it's just crazy.
well, J.M. Stravinsky's certainly putting his hat in the ring for taking over Doctor Who. I don't think that's going to happen.
I
But
don't want it to happen.
yeah, well, I mean, I concede for and against that, so I understand why you would say that. But he's certainly let it be known that he's interested.
Yeah, but that in and of itself is, that's not how you conduct business, right? Like, that just shows you how unprofessional he is. I'm glad we got something because we were just all wondering what the hell is going on.
We were spinning our
So-
wheels, literally.
So,
Right.
yeah, so now we know. And look, I'm not going to get involved with who's lying, who's not lying, what's true, what's not. The fact is that we're getting, that the BBC is going to be producing more Doctor Who. They are saying that they are producing more. They're just looking for a partner to do that. And what's notable is that they're looking for a different partner. So whether it was them that said to Russell, thanks, but no thanks, or Russell said, I'm just tired of this, I'm going to go away. We don't know. We'll wait till all the smoke clears and the documentation comes out finally, right? But it's kind of sad to end on that note because, despite the fact that one of the things that Michelle said, as my partner Michelle said, she when I said that we were going to talk about this tonight, she's like, "Are you going to mention RTD's snarky post?" And
Hell yeah.
because that turned her off as well. And he's done this before, and with snark and everything like that, and it is what it is. But I have to believe that he's crushed by this because this is a monumental failure on his part. He was really excited to bring Doctor Who back again, and it just failed. And this is not going to help him in future endeavors. Let's put it that way. And he reaps what he sows. I'm not saying he's not at fault because goodness gracious, despite the fact we got a lot of good stuff, we got a lot of stuff that was not good. So I'm excited to see who comes in as a new partner. And for the record, the BBC studios can go for it as well because the BBC studios is different than the BBC that has the property. So it's a different, because of legal reasons and all that. There's the way it works over there. But so BBC has my understanding is BBC Studios is going to be one of the ones that, apply to do this. but exactly, who ends up with it, I don't know.
Right. No, and it's funny because you were talking last time we had our episode, and you were really upset, and you were saying how bad Doctor Who was in shape it was because of the AMC Plus for the new series. And
Well, I just said that everybody, there's another one where everybody jumped on the bandwagon, and everybody was like, "Oh, AMC is going to do new Doctor Who," and I'm like, "No,
no,
like that's
No, we
that's
just
not
to
what
watch
this
the
is
other.
saying."
We could finally watch all the new Who 2005 plus episodes.
Exactly.
And I will say I have seen AMC promoting
Doctor
Who.
They are very heavily promoting Doctor Who.
Well, yes and no. I was really disappointed because I've watched 2 episodes of Interview with a Vampire, and they've shown ads for AMC Plus, and they've shown that they're going to be showing Winona Earp, that they're going to be showing, you can have access to this, that, and the other thing, of course, but they don't show any Doctor Who. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me that I can watch Winona Earp, and you're not telling me I can watch Doctor Who? Like, that's what are you doing here?
Winona Earp.
But it's Winona Earp. Our friend Kevin would be in heaven because of
I'm not dissing Winona Earp, but it's not like a franchise like Doctor Who is. And
right.
I was kind of surprised that wasn't included in their packaging when Interview with the Vampire is their biggest show right now.
It's on their front. That's on their front page for their app. Like when you go to New Coming Soon, it's there. At least it's there. But it's there.
And I have seen ads on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, that's good.
Unlike Disney, where I'd have to click through a lot of things to find the new episode that just
find it at all.
Brand new episodes, not even reruns of the new series. And it's interesting. From a friend of mine who is on another podcast, him and I were talking about it, and he was like saying what he had heard was that the streaming partner after Disney was supposed to be HBO, but because of the Warner Brothers deal, that fell through.
I've heard that too.
And so a lot of people.
I can't even imagine what it would be like. That's why I was like thinking you don't want it to go to HBO, especially if it's going to be part of Skydance,
the Evil Empire.
Well,
yeah,
and
that would be terrible.
I am so glad it didn't. Literally, from the end of the last season of Doctor Who until present, it's just been a crap show for Doctor Who and the organizations behind it. Disney losing interest because it didn't get the audiences that they were hoping it would get with the IP, and them deciding to not renew their contract, and then Shooty leaving the series. And we're not even going to start with if we're ever going to be able to see the war between the land and the sea over
chuckling.
here. Yeah.
So I say, I'm like, the thing that's still on the shelf?
Yeah, exactly. And, we wouldn't even know it probably if Disney just put it out there because they didn't advertise it at all.
It could be out there now. And
we wouldn't know. But literally,
look.
it's just crazy. It is just tripping crazy. And, and it's just been one cluster after another. The rumor going around was, I read something today that Billie Piper was just brought in for the cameo at the end. She didn't even sign any contract to do a Christmas special or anything.
I think that's true.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
I don't think she had any, she's on a lot of projects right now. She's actually pretty in demand right now.
Very much so. Very much so.
I can understand her not even having time in her production schedule.
Yeah. But can you imagine like that? Imagine the questioning she's going to get at Dragon Con this year.
Oh, Lord, right? Because literally that was, if you think about the reshoots with Shooty and how slapdash the very end of that episode was of reshooting everything and ditching ditching Susan and Poppy,
ditching the
and
good stuff, and
ditching the
Yeah.
good stuff,
the
and then
bad
going,
stuff.
okay, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to call in a favor. Billy, can you just do this cameo real quick, and I'll figure it out later? Well,
Yeah.
later never came.
Oh, exactly. Let's get Jodie, let's get Billy, literally for the reshoots. And that's what they did.
Yeah,
And
but it does feel like, that the writing was on the wall then, that the way Russell handled that by basically, rage producing the final episode, as if to basically say, F you, I'm done.
to everybody. Yeah. Not
yeah,
just
and
because
and
there
good
wasn't
luck to
any,
you.
there was no real reason to scrap the ending, actually.
No.
I mean, they still could have kept the Susan storyline.
Oh,
I mean, they may have had to change it a little bit, but they didn't have to just scrap it like that and put in just something completely nonsensical.
Yeah. True.
He needed to build in. Maybe because I think he felt that he owed. I'm just guessing that he would owe Shooty a regeneration, even though you could have just went with it, and that whoever's the next person on the line could have figured out, bring him back
I mean, frankly, it's pretty easy to put somebody's face on at this point if you had to. I mean, they've even done it before, so
yeah, it's much better than putting Sylvester McCoy in a Colin Baker wig.
Yep.
Oh, so,
but no, I was gonna say is and as we're talking about it, it feels like he knew he was in a relationship that was about to break up. And this is what he was trying to either A, save it, B, kind of figure it out. Okay, well, I at least don't want to do, Shooty, dirty because he's trying to leave. So, okay, I'll try to fix this. And then for me, that Instagram X and social media post that you read, to me, that came off as, you can't break up with me. I'm dumping you.
Exactly.
Very much.
Exactly.
Very much
jilted
and,
X kind of stuff is.
I mean,
and I could see Russell T doing stuff like that, something like that in a relationship.
And it's like, and I don't care what my best friend might have told you. He's wrong, Murray. It just was very, very circling the wagons, and
it was very defensive,
extremely defensive.
Oh, very much so. Very, very much so.
And those herring that like what I'm calling the herrings of just trying to throw talking point bombs of, and maybe they'll get rid of the TARDIS, and maybe they'll change the theme tune, and I'm like,
they're not going
to and make your new casino with the blackjack and the other people, and I go, just go.
Yeah,
my Bender.
He sounded like such the jilted lover right there.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, maybe they'll do this. Maybe they'll, it's like, oh, shut up already. When they announced Russell T as the next showrunner after Chris, and everyone was like going, Doctor Who is saved. It's all better. Everything's going to be great. And
not everybody.
2.5 years.
Yeah, but
they made it like it was going to be like the next, this is going to be the next 10 years of Doctor Who.
I know a lot of people, a lot of fans that didn't like what Russell did and were not happy that he came back.
Oh, during what Russell, and I was one of those people I was thrilled that we were going away from what Chris was doing, but I was very weary because I didn't like everything that Russell did the first time around. I am always going to be grateful for Russell that he brought Doctor Who back after God so many years and everything, after 16 years, that we got brand new Doctor Who, a whole new mythos and everything, but they carried over. They didn't start fresh. They brought the Daleks. They brought the Cybermen. They brought, Gallifrey and, some of the lore, but they did it slowly. And I love that they didn't just shove it all down your throat. And I thought they did it really well. But at the same time, there were a lot of stinkers in there that I didn't like about his era. And, I think for me with the new series, my favorite era is always going to be Moffat. And, I loved Moffat's era. And, I loved Matt Smith. I loved Capaldi as the doctors. And, I think he wrote the best time travel stories that out there that he did. But, I would love to see somebody fresh come in and have that kind of wonder and, fun with time travel and, be able to come up with fresh, brand new stories, bring some of I would love them to bring the cliffhangers back. I would love them to do, there was a season with Capaldi where they did two-parters, and they had the cliffhangers again and everything. And I thought that was just genius. And so, bring back some of that, bring back some of the things that made Doctor Who grand back in the old days. But, make it, exciting to a younger audience too at the same time. Because, I hate to say it, Doctor Who's audience is starting to age out in some ways. That's why I accepted and I liked Ncuti's era, because this was a doctor for a newer generation. It wasn't my generation. It was a younger generation. You had a doctor that was gay. You had a doctor who was open and, openly queer. And I loved every second of it. And I thought that was great. And they didn't pussyfoot around it. And I just thought it was, I liked that they did that. Did it hit all the way? No, it didn't. But I had fun with it. And I would love to see them take chances with Doctor Who. And I want to see that with the new, whoever comes in next.
See, that actually scares me about the next era of Doctor Who. We were talking about this before the podcast, how there's so much just vile rhetoric going around on social media, homophobic, misogynistic, racist, just
completely
horrible things about the RTD2, well, and also Jodie Whittaker's era.
Yeah, very much so. It was also there.
And it's easy for people to blame that for any sort of failure in Ncuti's era, rather than saying the writing was, up and down and Disney didn't promote it. And, there's many reasons why it struggled, but wokeness wasn't one of them. That's just a convenient excuse for people to expose their own, racism and misogyny.
Oh, I saw a graphic the other day on Facebook where, saying, see where woke is getting you? And it had a picture of Star Trek with Starfleet Academy. Then they had and it had a picture of Star Wars, The Acolyte. And then it had Doctor Who with Ncuti on it. And, all canceled, and it's like, no, that's not what it's about. And it's like, I think I told Maddox this when I was talking to him about it. He was like, it's like fandom is eating its own tail and it's destroying itself.
It really is. Because before the internets, the fans used to find each other because they enjoyed something.
Exactly.
Now it's like, do you guys just search out each other to hate on things? Because that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That is what it's about for them, though. Yeah. I think they do get off on that.
It's like, do you not watch anything that brings you joy? Because that's sad. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I mean, if it's something that's moved on, just you don't like it anymore. Lord knows, there's many a TV show and series that I started watching, and I went, I just kind of lost my interest. I didn't get angry at it anymore.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
My interest.
Yeah. No, I agree completely.
Especially these days when there are 50 million things to watch. I mean, it's not like there aren't other things you can seek out to watch. But that's not the point for them anyway. It's just another way to get attention.
I want to be trolled.
Right.
All right.
I mean,
but what I was trying. Wait, just give me 1 second, Mike.
Sure.
The point I was trying to make was that it scares me in the sense that I am one of the things that drew me to Doctor Who that I loved about it is that it has always been from the very beginning, if you watch it, very progressive, willing to tackle very heavy issues of classism and racism and, just all sorts of social issues. And I don't care what these trolls say, it's always been there. It's just go back and watch the shows. But I'm afraid that a production company will look at the current atmosphere of, well, the entire world, not just fandom, and say, ooh, we better stick to the middle of the road. We better be careful. We better not go outside the box or the boundaries, or we'll be attacked. And that to me is antithetical to Doctor Who. And that would break my heart to see that.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Completely.
Because it's not, I mean, we're saying it's fandom this, fandom that, fandom that. It's not fandom. It's the friggin' world we're in.
Mhm.
It's everything. I mean, we've never been more divided on everything. And I don't know how to fix it. No idea. I just saw Steven Spielberg's way of trying to fix it. Guess what? Divisive as well. So I can't control them. I can't control trolls, right? I don't even acknowledge them really, because I hate to spread that out. At the end of the day, all I can do is just, enjoy what I enjoy and promote what I love. And yes, there is the climate here where if Paramount or, if they put up the money and they want to have Doctor Who, and the BBC's okay with that, then we're going to get watered down Doctor Who, just like we have watered down Star Trek right now. So, yes, I said that. And, and, I do think though, one of the things that gives me hope is, that I think the pendulum is starting to swing a little bit. Like I see the beginning of, it seemed like post 9/11, every science fiction thing had to be about war and struggles and divisiveness and everything like that. There was nothing out there that was positive, giving us a positive view of the future or of science fiction. And I do think that that's starting to I see signs that it's starting to move the other direction again. The fact that Project Hail Mary was as huge as it was, gives me hope, because that is a very feel good, hopeful story. And it was really popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, that's a good sign. If that starts a trend of positive, affirming, hopeful, because that's the big deal about Doctor Who. Yes, he's been woke, but he's always been about, what did Craig Ferguson say? He said it's Doctor Who's been about not brute force and cynicism, but
right, yeah, hope and
optimism. And I just think that hopefully we'll get, but we don't know. Like I can't even think of somebody that I'd want to get the property right now. As far as somebody out there that really feels strongly about it, and I would feel confident in. And bring it into a new future. Say what you will about JMS, he will not do that.
No,
JMS isn't going to speak to the kids.
Canada's doing some good stuff right now. Maybe Canada needs to go out and bid.
My hope with the tender is that it's not, I don't want to say I want to shelve Doctor Who for a bit, but I think it could do with a little bit of a hiatus. only because one, you have the charter and agreements are about to be redone because of what was it, like 2000, they're at the end of 2026, and then they have to
Yes.
redo all of them at 2020 for 2027.
Yes.
So all that has to be redone and figure out how they're going to figure out. The BBC is going to have to figure out how, or the government is going to have to figure out how they're going to do their licensing to get the money from the people. So they still have to figure out, are they going to still put it as a TV tax? Or are they going to figure out a streaming tax? Are they going to do all this kind of crap? And I think once they get that sorted, which is going to need a little time, it might be good that Doctor Who's has a little bit of an extended tendering period, because right now with Bad Wolf having it with RTD, and then have them bringing in Sony and Disney, the budget went up high and the expectations went up high and all that kind of stuff. And the ratings aren't exactly there. So if the ratings are here and this is this much price, who the hell wants this? Who as a business wants to buy this? Especially when if you're the BBC and you're trying to sell this, go, hey, we got this amazing property. It's going to cost you $300 billion, but don't worry, you only have the ratings of 3 people. No one's going to get that. So I think
they've been listening to our podcast
time,
ratings, huh?
Right? I know, right? Is that our budget? Do we have $300 billion for our budget? Mike, what are you doing?
You
Okay,
know?
what?
Are we putting in a bid for the tender?
No, can we? Maybe we should do this. But
how do you think I was able to move to North Carolina, guys? Come on.
Dang it. Okay.
The truth comes out.
Okay. So I think giving it a little time, because they need it for the charter and agreements, giving it a little bit of time to let all of this stuff settle, especially the jilted lover speech tweet thing.
Right.
Kind of it falling off the radar, even though Disney did really good helping with that. Yeah, I think that will help bring the price down a little bit. And as the price kind of comes down a little bit, that might help more production companies like BBC Studios or someone else to be like, hey, this is what I would like to think for the future. Because this knee-jerking kind of, well, let's hurry to get a Christmas episode out there now, and we're going to just do this as fast. I think time might help with a lot of this, because if they really do want to bring this back and do something longevity, not back, but I mean, no, I will say, I take that back. I'm going to say this word. RTD was promising at the very beginning, was promising this new future of Who that was going to keep, be the jumping off plan for 10 years or something. And we got 2.5, 3, maybe question mark.
Yeah.
I think the next custodian of the show is going to attempt building something so it has a better longevity. RTD didn't really leave a great foundation, even though he was saying great. I mean, I love the guy. He's a great showman, and he's very good at talking a big game and getting all the stuff that he could, but I don't think all the substance was there for this foundation. So now we're kind of back to square one. So I'm kind of good with it. Just let it. I'm not saying we need another wilderness years. I don't want that. But I don't think they need to find somebody right now and strike while the iron's hot. I think the iron needs to just.
I think, but the good thing with it is we're in a different boat than we were in the wilderness years last time. Because that was 1989. You did have Doctor Who episodes on VHS back then, but you didn't, now you have streaming, you have YouTube, you have Pluto TV, you have Tubi, you have all these different outlets to see older episodes of Doctor Who. It's not like, where am I going to see this anymore and such. And, then you do have, the day they made the announcement from BBC, Big Finish was all over it. Hey, we're putting out new material. And I was like, bravo, gentlemen. That was very, very well done. And they gave pictures of all the new stuff that they have coming out over the next 6 months. And I think that's just amazing. And, we've even had people suggests to me, have you guys thought about becoming a Big Finish podcast until Doctor Who comes back? And it's like, oh, yes, we have the budget for that to be able to. Because truthfully, Big Finish is not cheap, folks.
I mean, but to Mel's point, like, it's going to be a while. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think, you know, I mean, I have seen, and I'm glad that you clarified that a little bit, Melanie, because I've seen out there, people are like, it needs a break. It needs to go away for, you know, 5-10 years, whatever. Time is not the problem. Like, time is not going to solve this. Time is not going to give us a better show. A really cool showrunner is going to give us a better show.
Exactly.
So
No,
that's
it's agreed.
whatever it takes to get a good showrunner with a good vision of what, you know, the franchise is going to look like. That's what is necessary. Now, even if they were to make a deal by the end of the year, and I do think that will happen, because BBC doesn't want to sit on this. This is a major revenue source for BBC. Doctor Who is like, you know, a big deal. So they don't want to just sit around. They want to see what they can get for this. And so I imagine that I would be surprised if we don't hear anything by the end of the year as far as, you know, where it is going to go. But it means even if we get somebody by the end of the year, we're not going to get new Who until 2028 earliest.
I'm hearing 2028 all the way up to 2031.
Well, sure.
Doctor.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
2031 is way too long.
Right. But
2031 is way too far away.
But
I mean, we'll have flying cars by then and nobody will care.
Where's the TARDIS set now? Because they put a lot of money in that TARDIS set, the new TARDIS.
Well, it was at Bad Wolf Studios.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
that's going away.
Okay.
They tore that down.
Yeah, I assume that if it's not already torn down, will be torn down.
They're in a estate sale. Can I go
Or
get one
at
of the
least
round?
put in storage.
I'll take the jukebox, you know, if you don't mind.
To Mary's point, my fear is that with the way television and streaming services are now, when Doctor Who does return, we're going to get, I don't know if I've talked about this before, if you guys are familiar with the Surf Dracula concept. So Surf Dracula, if the Surf Dracula was a show in the 60s, Surf Dracula would be surfing every 15 minutes. You'd see Dracula out there in the waves, surfing. In today's streaming market, Surf Dracula, the series, would be 8 episodes, and he doesn't even hit the waves until the last 5 minutes of the last episode. It's all just building up to him. So imagine, if you will, when Doctor Who does return, it's a Doctor who's been stripped of the TARDIS. He's been stripped of everything. And he has to start from scratch. He doesn't even know who he is. And so he has to try to figure that out. And by the time that the season, you know, concludes, he's got his TARDIS and he's, you know, gone his way. I can definitely see, and, you know, and I agree. There's a really, really cool article by a writer named Charlie Jane Anders, who wrote a blog post on how to bring back Doctor Who. And I think she makes some really, really excellent points about being a clean slate, and don't even mention the Rose thing. Like, just move on, and then, you know, in a special or something, you know, mention it, you know, what happened, but don't
Or just
don't
make
dwell
it like
on
a
it.
throwaway line.
Yeah.
Don't let it handicap you to what you're going to be doing.
Exactly.
Right.
Almost like the line from the TV movie where he said he was half human on his mother's side. That was wiped under the
Well,
bridge.
look at the difference between, like, after the Fox movie and then when Russell did bring it back successfully with Chris Eccleston, you know, those first 5 minutes when he, you know, you don't know who he is or what's going on or anything like that. It just kind of throws you in there. We don't know what happened to the last Doctor. We don't see a regeneration. You know, we just move on, and then we find out about a bunch of stuff later on as the season goes. And I definitely feel like that was sort of ahead of its time because I don't think a lot of shows were doing that then, but now all shows are doing that. But I don't want a like 8-hour episode. I don't want, because a lot of streaming shows are just an 8-hour story, and then it always lags in the middle. Because they're extending, they're extending a 2-hour or whatever. They're extending a story out too much. And look, Doctor Who went through that 60 years ago. We don't need to return to those days.
We complain about that all the time.
Well, would you guys want to see like the individual stories with no tying together, or do you want to see something like an overarching storyline, but individual stories in between, going on at the same time?
Well, they can tie together, but they need to stand alone.
Yeah. Because if somebody misses an episode, they're lost.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The way streaming is, nobody jumps midstream anymore. Like nobody just goes, I'm going to start with episode 4. Like it just doesn't happen. Like, that's the old model of, you catch it when it's on TV. Nobody does that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but people still came up to us when we were at Pensacon. I thank you for the panel, but I'm new to Doctor Who. Where do I start? Because it's 60 years worth of stuff. Or do you have a specific episode that I should watch to jump on board, or, stuff? We used to get that all the time.
That's one of the reasons why we're doing our definitive episodes that we did like last month, and we're going to do
next month.
We were scheduled to do this month, and then something happened.
To me, it's there's a difference between, here's something I want you to try and see if you like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Like the 50th, I always bring up the 50th. I'm like, watch the 50th. If you're like, oh, it's gonna pique my interest, then good, because you'll clearly know that there's backstories in there, and that you don't need to know them in order to get the story. And there's other bottle episodes that are perfect that people bring up, but then it's okay, well, and for me, it's okay, you like the 50th? Was there either of those doctors you really liked a lot? Then start with 10, start with 11. Who cares? Just start at the beginning of it.
Right.
Otherwise, if you're like, oh, okay, or if there's other episodes, then that's when I kind of tell them, well, try another one of the episodes. If you didn't really like it, of one of the starter trier ones, then if you're going to start Doctor Who, start with any of your doctors. Pick a doctor.
Exactly.
Any doctor.
Yeah.
For any weird reason.
Exactly. And, and this is even a better chance for more people to get, caught up with the series, or to check out if, had an interest in Doctor Who. This is your chance to see some of the best episodes out there. You now have AMC Plus, where you could see everything from Rose all the way to the end of the Jodie era. And, that's, quite a few years worth of Doctor Who, but it's not like you had 50 episodes a season or something like that in the classic series. Mm-hmm. You had maybe, 12, 13 episodes per season. So it's not, people do that in one night, or, or over 2 days nowadays with streaming. And that's, it's what we did when we watched The Pit, and we just couldn't stop watching that series, and it's just, or Spider-Man Noir, or, it's just amazing. There's great stuff that it's easy to do nowadays because you have it all at your fingertip on your TV. And, it's not like the old days where 1989 going back, where, is PBS going to be showing Doctor Who now, now that it's on hiatus, or it's been canceled, or whatever, you have all these options. And so, there's tons of stuff out there to do. Yeah. And you're going to hear so much garbage. You're getting it still daily. And go onto YouTube, and how much Doctor Who's canceled, but why, and stay away from that stuff, folks. It's not worth watching, because it's garbage, and it's just people venting and, lying out of their teeth. That's the one thing I can honestly say here on this show, that the four of us love doing. We're never going to lie to you outright about something like that. We're not going to have a political agenda or something behind what we're doing. We're here because we love Doctor Who. We have a passion for it, and that's not going to change. And that's the best thing I could say for you guys is we'll be here. If Doctor Who doesn't come back to 2031, God, we'll be old, but we'll still be here. Damn it. You know?
And we still won't have done Trial of Time Lord.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
At least if we're being here. It's a much tougher market now, as you pointed out, Mike, with everything that you have. Not a lot of people go back and watch stuff that's more than 3 or 4 years old now. So there's not a lot of people that are going to be like, I don't foresee that being like the AMC numbers being like particularly big as far as people going and watching. And even because even that stuff looks dated now.
Well, yeah, of
but
course.
I will say that it will be really interesting to me who their demographic's going to be, because if they're going to aim the franchise at young people, teenagers, then it's going to be a very different show than we've seen in a long time. And that might be something that, you know, is very polarizing as well, but because the older fans are not going to like that at all, it's very difficult to appease, you know, age groups, let alone, you know, diehard fans as opposed to new, and try to get new fans. That is a really, really tough gig. And I'll be curious to see if are they gonna treat it like a, hey, everybody who likes Doctor Who, come on back, it's back the way you remember it, or are they gonna be like, no, we're gonna push the edge and try to do something different, and you know, I kind of hope they go that way, even though it might alienate me.
Right.
But you know, if Doctor Who's popular again, then you know, I you know, we'll see how that goes. But you know, I've had it happen with a couple of other franchises that I grew up loving.
Well, truthfully,
So,
you walked away from Doctor Who at a point. Back in, you know, you didn't see after the Fifth Doctor era, you walked away from
the Fourth Doctor era.
Yeah. And
I didn't. The only Peter Davison episode that I'd seen prior to us really doing this podcast is the anniversary episode, the Five Doctors, and he didn't impress me there, so I didn't I didn't follow through. But I mean, for me, you know, for the longest time, Doctor Who was just the Fourth Doctor, as we pointed out when we did that. But I mean, I've appreciate the whole franchise now. And I really appreciate, you know, a lot of different takes on it. So I'm curious to see. But you know, it's not doom and gloom. I mean, there's certainly reason to be concerned, but I think the bottom line is that yes, we can all be like, oh my God, the sky's falling with Doctor Who. But the fact of the matter is this could be a really, really good thing.
Wait, I remember that episode when the sky was falling.
And also, we're actually blessed to be in an era where there is a ton of Doctor Who content right now.
Yes.
I mean, it would take you the rest of your life just to go through Big Finish. There's comics, there's books, there's, you know, revisiting old episodes. There's just so much. So it's never going to be a wilderness. There's always going to be stuff out there to watch and enjoy. And, you know, yes, I would like it. I miss Doctor Who. Yes, I want to see it as soon as I can, but I'd rather they wait 3 years and make a really good show than rush it out in a year and have it just be, you know, another lackluster bunch of episodes that don't do anything for me because the writing is bad.
No, I don't disagree. I want Doctor Who to be the show that I'm sitting there waiting for it to start. I don't want it to be, it's the new episode's available at 9 p.m., you know, on the East Coast. And, you know, I'll maybe watch it in the next day or two. And that's how I was getting with the Shooty episodes. And, you know, so It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so excited to see this. And so it just all depends, and I'm hoping that we can get that again. And, truthfully, what I'm hoping is that it does take a small break and it comes back, and some of the folks who watched it, who are, say, William's age, who are in their mid-20s now, if like 4 years ago, they might have a little kid or something and, be like little Mel, when she was little and her dad was watching it. Hey, you want to watch this with me? Type thing. And that brings in the next generation of Whovians. And, but it still keeps its classic roots that, it doesn't completely alienate the older audiences. So I think that's what we can hope for. And, folks, stick with our show, because once we hear stuff, you'll be one of the first people out there, to hear it from us. And, we hopefully think that we're a trusted source for your, Doctor Who news and, discussions and everything. So let's see what happens with that. Fingers crossed. That's the best thing we could do for it, folks. And, we did get a bit of email, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. Peter's piping in. God, I can't believe I said Peter Piper. Okay.
In relation to Billy?
It was coming out of my mouth, and I was just like, oh God, don't do it. Don't do it. But it was like, so Peter wrote us, and he said the topic was no Christmas special. He says, hi, Mike. Just a quick note to commiserate about the events in Doctor Who. After the last discussion, I'm consoling myself with watching Classic Who. If this is the end, does it mean Billie Piper is the last Doctor? Who saw that coming? Peter. She was not the Doctor. She definitely was not the Doctor.
It was question marks.
Exactly. And one of the things I'm really sad about is the actress who played Susan. She's not a young chicken anymore. I would have, yeah, and I would have loved, like we had mentioned earlier, at least some kind of resolution, even if it was left on a cliffhanger, just to know Susan's out there, type thing.
Yeah, that was another reason that made me not so happy with RTD, that he just scrapped the whole Susan thing when I don't think that was necessary.
No,
there was still ways to honor her, even if Shooty was leaving.
I lied. As we're recording this now on the 16th, it's her birthday, and she's 86 years young.
Yes, she is. Good on her. And, she was interviewed last week after the news came out, and the interviewer asked if the next showrunner comes back and asks you to be on the show to play Susan, would you? And she says, in a heartbeat. And, and it's a shame if they don't do something with it. Mm-hmm. It is a true shame.
I mean, even if they just put out like a YouTube video, like they did with Paul McGann.
Yeah.
Because that was actually a really good little short, episode with him. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason why they couldn't do something like that with Susan.
Oh yeah. All her popping up during the, Shurigawa episodes from her point of view. And then, something happens in that episode and she regenerates into a new Susan or something. That would be fine. At least she would have closure for her character. Right. And everything for the actress. The one great thing was, in the last Jodie episode, we got to see Ian again. We got to see, some of the, William Russell before he passed away. And, he was companion, number 2 behind Susan, because, Barbara had passed away years ago. But to get to see William Russell in new Doctor Who was just amazing. And I hope we get that with, Carol Ann Ford. So let's see what happens. All right. Peter also wrote us about our last episode, review of the classic Doctors. He said, hi, Mike and gang. Enjoyed the podcast. First Doctor series, I liked the way Ian went from an annoyance to a trusting crew member. I never found Ian annoying. I thought he was the muscle of the TARDIS.
Yeah, he
And
may
I
have been the
thought-
least annoying.
Yeah, well, exactly. The second Doctor, we missed out on a lot more and never paid as much as he deserved. You have reawakened my interest. Third Doctor was my second favorite after Tom. I really enjoyed almost all the episodes, and Sarah Jane, of course, overlapped them. As Tom, he was my first Doctor and my favorite, and Leela was one of my favorite companions, and I could pick a favorite episode. Fifth Doctor, I am rewatching now, starting with Earthshock. You could cheer at the end of that one, my friend. It's okay. Sixth Doctor was not my favorite, but I have time to watch that season now. Seventh Doctor, to be honest, I want to watch more for Ace. Sylvester and Ace were at Pensacon a few years ago and was super nice. Had a Doctor Who themed wedding, and he and Ace jumped out of the TARDIS model during the service. Oh, that's awesome. That is really, really awesome. I also got my 4K Doctor Who movie. Thanks, Peter. Awesome. Thank you as always,
Thanks,
Peter.
Peter.
Thanks,
Wow,
Peter.
they put the movie out in 4K?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Fox movie?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wow.
just recently.
Yeah. Is it available here in the States, or is it just in the UK for 4K?
That I do not know.
Yes. So we'll check into that one, folks. But definitely, if you guys want to write us like Peter does every week, and we do appreciate you, Peter, please write us. Feedback at earthstationwho.com is the best way to get in touch with us. Folks, we will be back. We're not going anywhere. We'll be coming back. We'll be sticking with monthly, and then, we'll reassess at the end of the year and see what we, schedule wise and everything. And please, we have a lot of time. If you guys have any requests of things you want us to review or talk about, please write us. We would really appreciate it. Of course, the best way to, for everybody to find us up on YouTube, the algorithms are changing constantly, and I constantly have to put new keywords in and new, tags, and it's such a headache. But, please give us a thumbs up. We would really appreciate it. Or, rate us, leave feedback up on YouTube. It would be awesome if you could, and tell your friends and neighbors. We would really appreciate it. And if you're listening to us at home, thumbs up and stars. That's the best way. 5 stars is the best. And if you're not happy with what we talked about today, 5 sarcastic stars. We'd appreciate it for that. All right, folks. Let's thank our crew for being here tonight. Mr. Mike Gordon, we made it through another one.
We did. And as always, it's my pleasure.
You want to promote any of your stuff, my friend?
You know what? Instead of promoting my stuff, I want to promote something that is on Kickstarter right now that's needing funding. It's the Sir Sherlock series, which is a series of Sherlock Holmes stories where he's older and he's actually been knighted. And the reason why I bring it up here is because Sherlock Holmes in this audio drama is being portrayed by Tom Baker. The first installment has already been released, called Red Letter Day. I got my copy.
Oh, shiny. Kind of see it. There it is.
Yay!
Yay.
And I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet, so I'm looking forward to that. It's Tom Baker and John Leeson as Watson. So 2 very familiar names to Doctor Who. It's not done by Big Finish, despite the fact that it's got those it's an audio only, although I think you can buy like a novelization of it. But it's being produced by AUK Studios, and I've never heard of them before, but I'm anxious to hear what this one sounds like, as well as others. People may remember that Tom played Sherlock Holmes in a adaptation of Hound of the Baskervilles from 1982. And I thought he did a really good job in that one. It's not my favorite Holmes story. It's been done a lot, which is weird because Holmes is like barely in it. But still, I love the fact that, that he's reprising his role as Sherlock, and that, they've adjusted the character so he's older. So, and he's still having adventures. So I'm really keen to check this out. The second installment of this is called The Sickle and the Sea, and it will be available. It's at right now. You can support it on Kickstarter and pledge, and to get yourself a copy. I believe the goal, the campaign runs until July 10th. So, but I'm not sure what time, because it's, British time and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not, so early July. So jump on this while you can. You will get an opportunity, not only to get the second one, but the first one as well. So you can get caught up. They are not doing digital downloads, which is a little disappointing, but you do get physical media. So yay, physical media.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Yes, definitely. It's a great Kickstarter, and I definitely recommend folks check that out. And Tom is a treasure, as we like to say. And this isn't, like Mike said, not Big Finish related, but it's pretty awesome. A little bit of other Doctor Who news. Well, not Doctor Who news, but it's Doctor Who related. The fine folks at the TV show Only Murders in the Building actually came out with some of the guests that they're going to have on their new season, which takes place in the UK. Imagine that. And, this guy has not been doing any work, so I'm so glad to see David Tennant is going to be, guesting on the series. But you also have another doctor. You're going to have Jodie Whittaker is going to be up there also, which is pretty awesome. You're also going to have Nicola Coughlan and Jim Broadbent, among others.
And you're going to have a master as well.
That is true. That is
because Derek Jacobi is part of the cast, or is joining them as well. So, so two. Well, technically 3 doctors, right?
Yes.
And and a master.
Exactly. Oh, it's going to be awesome. And it's just like when I saw that yesterday, it was just like, oh, I don't even know where to put that. Do I put it in Earth Station Who, or do I put it on ESO Network? So it's just pretty awesome. And it's such a great show. And I'm looking forward to it. And God, I can't believe they're up to season 6 with that show, right?
Yeah.
And, and it's brilliant. So
they've all been good too. Every season.
I've liked it. Yeah, I've loved what they've done. And I can't wait to see what they, how they act in Britain.
Oh, I see some goofiness there. I really see some goofiness coming. Let's thank the other hosts for being on tonight. Of course, Melanie Dean. Thank you as always.
Thank you. I love talking, who, and even if it's like pontificating what the heck's going to go on from here on out. I like surrounding myself with very good, optimistic, positive people. So thank you.
We try, and we appreciate you. And Ms. Mary Ogle, thank you as always.
Yes, thank you too. I still feel optimistic about Doctor Who. I hope people keep finding their Who in all the many ways that it exists.
Yes, and if you want to bitch and moan about it, you guys can bite us. So it's okay, so what are you going to do? Not listen? So there you go.
I don't mind some complaining or critiquing and stuff like that, but overall, generally, it's nice. It's not rage bait.
Exactly. I'm not going to promote my stuff tonight. I'm just, this is enough talking for tonight. I'm sure, everyone's like going, okay, already. Go home. Go get some bed. Drink some Ovaltine, something like that. Thank you guys for listening. We do appreciate you so much. You can find us wherever fine podcasts are found and up on YouTube. And please, tell anybody you want to listen to us. We would appreciate it, especially if we're going to be in the wilderness years. Woo. And one thing I will say, we are going to be coming to you still. We're not stopping. I know of 6 different Doctor Who podcasts that have announced that they're going on hiatus until the show comes back. And so I know.
Why?
I know. But, we'll see. So we'll check you guys out soon. Thank you for listening. On behalf of myself, Mike Gordon, Mary Ogle, and Melanie Dean, we will see you here next time on Earth Station Who. Peace, and we are done. Allons-y, my friends. Be strong. Bye.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from throughout space and time. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individuals and are to be used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our show wherever fine podcasts are found, or check out our website, earthstationwho.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and if you enjoyed the show, please write to us at feedback@earthstationwho.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next journey of Earth Station Who.
What's this? Discussions of thrilling new Star Trek episodes. Incisive debates on legacy Star Trek topics. What could it be? Star Trek! This is Earth Station Trek, a show where we trek from the early days on NBC to the future on Paramount Plus and everywhere in between. Star Trek! Earth Station Trek, live on YouTube Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, or listen after on your favorite podcast platform.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.